I go... okay, so what's happening right now? Right, this is big talk. Are we ready for big talk? So what we're looking at right now, don't worry, this isn't actually the run. I was playing, in fact, I don't think this is the run, is it? No, it's not. So I have spent quite a long time playing Star Waspir, right? And now, obviously, to me, I'm quite committed. I've been working on this challenge, you know, because I've pretty much, not entirely, not exclusively, I'm only playing UFO 50, like, when I'm streaming. So you can kind of get to see the journey as I go along. And as I've been sort of going through this journey, there's been some games that have been harder than others. That I've kind of, even the games which I haven't enjoyed that much, like I've still got some enjoyment. You know, there's definitely weaker games, right? I'm going to tell you this now. Star Waspir is the worst game, all right? Because this game is too hard, right? Now, it's not even as though this necessarily took me more hours than any other game, or it didn't take me the longest, but I'm telling you, it's the hardest game, right? It's so hard, like, and I think you need to be... I don't think I'm not sure anyone necessarily everyone has the skills to be able to do it, right? So I was trying to work out, I was trying to think, and it's what we're about to look at now. This is just an example of this particular section is so, like, you know, I want to go as far as saying it's unfair. It's far too difficult, because see these red things that I'm killing there, if you don't kill them quick enough, right, and you let some of them just stay on board, they just start firing so much, and you've got to try and avoid every single tiny little bullet, as well as all of these asteroids. It's like, it's genuinely unfair. So I don't know, as far as humans, how as a human you're supposed to do this, right? And I then just thought, well, the only way I can ever realistically do this is if I actually intentionally don't do this on stream, and I just kind of like record my sort of progress, and I just keep recording, just try and see if I can get better, try and see if I can make progress. This is so monstrously difficult, and and I think quite soon, I think I'm about to get killed here, and it will actually line up to my actual run, and I'll give you a decent running commentary. But this is the only game that I can kind of quite comfortably say, yes, that's the game over. Right. But this is one of those games that I can comfortably say I haven't enjoyed this game. So anyway, off we go. Right, wave one. Right, what I'm looking to do, if you look at the top left right now, you can see where it says score times 1. If I get the 3 letters EGG, then, or egg, it gives me an extra 1 to my multiplier. But even right at the beginning, you can see how many bullets there are on screen, and the fact that you need to get you need to get the letters in the right order to get this. This is very, very difficult, but it's quite quick to reset if you can't do it straight away. And now this is a place where you can really build up the multiplier, right? But and I kind of learned that the hitbox of your ship isn't the size of the ship; it's actually the size of that little dot in the middle of the ship. And you use that to your advantage. You can use that sort of little exploit so that you can slightly shave into the bullets, like I'm doing there. Like what I'm looking to do at this point is just finish this level with as much multiplier as I can. Now, as you can see, every time I get EGG, my multiplier goes up. If ever different combinations do sort of different things, but if ever you get a combination that doesn't do anything, right, it makes the multiplier go back down to 0. And if you're looking to get a cherry, then you may as well give up at this point, because it's going to be like too difficult to actually build up your multiplier back up again. So not only am I like trying to survive, trying to avoid all these bullets, I'm looking to try and get EGG and avoid all these bullets. And like I can assure you, this is really difficult. Like now, I think there is a certain skill that some people have where it is just bullet hells. Now there's a guy who's been in my stream, and I've sort of like raided him a couple of times, and a really cool guy called Laser Loss, who he is really good at bullet hells. I've seen him play other games where there's just so many bullets on stream at once, and like perhaps this is a game that's going to be probably fine for people who are good at these sorts of games. But it's just like the problem with UFO 50 is what you want is you kind of want the you want games to be kind of like working with you. You know, you think like if you're going to make a game this difficult, it's got to be one that like a person who's generally good at computer games should be able to do eventually, right? But this one here, like after, you know, bear in mind, I don't actually know the number of hours that I spent on this, but we'll have a look afterwards. But the number of hours I spent on this is like after about 10 hours, I was kind of learning the route, learning like how the run goes. But it's kind of very much luck, because it's not as though some of these bullets are so hard to avoid, there's too many on screen, that I'm kind of at the stage where I'm just like, oh no, it's not a matter of like really trying to be skillful, it's just a matter of hoping that you just don't run into the bullets. Yeah, so this bit is, like, I tried to come up with the cleanest version of this, but these red things you want to kill as fast as you possibly can. So you've got to kind of like, when you know where they spawn, so it goes left, right, and then slightly left, then slightly right, then slightly further right, and then all the way left, and then right. Yeah, so I learned the pattern of all of this, right? But all these asteroids, if you bump into them, you lose a life, and you lose all of your power-ups that you've had, and you lose your multiplier, right? So you really don't want to die at this point. But it's just really difficult. So, and given that you're kind of trying to avoid the power-ups as well, because you don't want to lose your multiplier that way, this is so stressful. And now this section here is really hard, but it's kind of a little bit fair, right? It is difficult, and this is actually a really sort of harsh part, because that big boss fires a bunch of bullets, and because there's asteroids that are sort of blocking him, the asteroids only block your bullets. They don't block any of the enemies, right? So I'm desperately struggling to try and get sort of any sort of leeway trying to hit that boss there. I just couldn't get there, and now unfortunately I lost. I think that's my first life. So in order to get the cherry, you need 300,000, and so I'm on 272 now, and so it's like I think I've got enough that it's like even if I probably don't need to worry too much about points anymore. And this particular section we're looking here is the hardest part of the game, because you have these red things that come around which just completely pollute the entire screen, and these green ones which fire these homing missiles. So when you die, you have a few seconds of invincibility, and I want to try and cash that in to try and get a few free kills at that point. It's just the thing is another thing which is really important to know is, like, at this stage, it's so rare that I ever get to this stage. You know, it's like, it probably is like 100 attempts, or maybe 50 attempts for me to ever get this far, that I'm normally gripping the control pad. So, like, I legitimately, just to, like, you know, when I say I really hate this game, it's like the, oh, by the way, I did that intentionally, because I could spend a life, and I could just, it kills it straight away. But yeah, I was gripping the control pad so hard that I was literally getting blisters, right? Because it's like I'm thinking I just really don't want to die at this point, right? And one little technique that I found, not that I would necessarily recommend this, but a little technique that I found quite helpful was I actually had a glass or two of red wine before playing. So that way I'm not actually... So at this point here, I was actually relatively calm, because this particular section isn't too difficult. But, you know, when it's so rare that you ever get to see the fourth wave, you have that, like, you know, you're just like, oh no, I don't want to make a mistake. You're sort of so stressed that you can't... You know, this game's just so horrible. And again, more bullets. This bit here is, like... very tough, because I'm not sure, even when I've watched other, like, because bear in mind I've watched plenty of other people doing this, like just trying to see how many bullets there are on screen. So now I literally one more hit and my run is over. So I've got quite a lot. I've got my stomach in my chest at this point, because there's still quite a lot of the game left. And so, but I realised I've hit the 300,000. So all I need to worry about at this point is is just getting to the end. So, and so I'm just genuinely, this is where kind of like, this is another reason why I didn't really want to stream this. It's because the amount of focus that I've got at this point is, it's just, like this is just so difficult. Like, because it takes me so long to get this far in a run. And so I've got a lot of envy and admiration for people who are actually good at bullet hell games, because this is not for the faint of heart at all. So now this boss here, it's like, I think I had reached this boss once before, right? I haven't, this is the second time I've ever seen this boss, but I heard in a speedrun that like those because bear in mind I went online and tried to find as many hints and tips as I possibly could. So I'm watching this back and I'm realizing how close this was. But yeah, like, and the way those sort of boomerangy things fire, they're like homing missiles, and they, you can kind of like curl around them. Now, if I had a spare life, right, if you have a spare life, you can run straight into the boss, and the boss will die. So you lose a life, but then you just win instantly. Now this, oddly enough, right, this final boss is not too bad, right? I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's definitely a lot, like, his moves are predictable. So, oh yes, kamikaze, yes, you're right, yeah, sorry, yeah, this is, sorry, just to clarify, this is my sort of speed run that I'm going for. Like, it's just I needed to, but anyway, how are you doing though, Big Fatty Fat? Let's rock. Yeah, it's just, this was, like I say, this is one of those games where it's like, it might be partly showing my age, but I mean, I just especially that wave 3. That wave 3, I just think is unfair. I don't know how you're meant to do that as a human being. I don't know how human beings are supposed to do that. It's just too hard. Yeah, like, so, like, and again, every part of this, I was just trying to play it as safe as I possibly could. And then, like, sometimes when you do something, some people's reactions are like a yes. My reaction was, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, like, the thing is to be fair, actually, it's coming at GDQ. By the way, yes, anyway, rock and roll, yes. So I was so happy at the end of that. I was really good. What we'll do, actually, is I'll quickly see how many hours, because I can't remember how many hours I was actually doing this game. But yeah, so very happy that I did that. That is just the video there. Yeah, so what I was going to say, sorry, Big Fatty Fat, is... I did exit. Oops. Is like when you actually I've been watching some GDQ a bit later, like a while ago, and some of the shoot 'em ups that they're playing, the entire screen is filled with bullets, and there's a tiny little circle. It's like, yeah, oh my god! So you've done it as well. Very well done, Big Fatty Fat. Legitimately, this is one of those things where I feel like kind of out of all the games that I've played, Star Waspir feels like I needed some sort of like badge to be like I've cherried Star Waspir. I feel like, cool, fair enough, Shazad. But thank you very much for sticking by. I'll see you later. But yeah, so. Like, I genuinely don't know how many hours that I spent on it, but it's just however many it is, it could have been double that. I just happened to get one lucky run, and an idea that I would say to anyone who's ever going to try attempt it: try and be as relaxed as possible. So it's like, in my case, something like red wine, and just like, oddly enough, it's a perfectly herbal thing. It's called Rescue Remedy. That's a sort of, it's a herbal thing, and it's just to be as calm as I possibly could be. 24 hours, right? So if you actually look, hold on, I want to actually see if I can get this right. So chronology, most played. So it's second, right? It's second out of all the games. Actually, let's have a look. I can't remember. So so Onion Delivery was 40 hours. This was 24 hours, and yeah, I guess Caramel So all of these, yeah, these were